Hey Jett, this is Keaton Everett with ABC, going over your pitching video from camp. We're going to go through and talk a little bit about your mechanics and your delivery, and just talk about some ways to, just work on that consistency and just ways to utilize your lower half. You especially for you can get a lot more out of your legs. Pitching is so much about legs. That's why you always hear about guys, working the legs, running, real far, is just to get those legs in condition. Get those legs strong, because that's the foundation of velocity. That's what we use to generate our forces, and that's just the whole sort of the engine of everything is in the legs. So we got to get you to a point using a little bit more legs, and we'll kind of talk a little bit about each step as we go through it. So basically, you got a pretty good sense of your mechanics, especially for your age. You kind of have everything working in pretty good rhythm, and just we'll go through and talk about a few things. So we'll start with your initial sort of setup, and I want you to go through and look at your first initial setup here. You can see your feet are kind of shoulder width apart, and then back here on this one you come, and now they're basically touching. All right, so the biggest thing with mechanics and being consistent is consistent with everything, down to where we put our feet, down to how far we lift our legs. We just want to be repeatable. We want everything to repeat itself. We want everything to be the exact same. So just be aware of your setup, all right? Make sure you're setting up in the right spot, all right? And so now what we want to look at is part of that setup too is the initial where we're initially loaded up. All right, so I'm going to draw a circle over your head and a line sort of through the middle of your body, your spine. All right, so as we start through your motion, all right, you see that little drift back. All right, your body wants to start over that back leg, so we want it to start there initially, just like a sprinter. If a sprinter's in a starting block, they don't rock back and then drive forward. They're already back, and their first movement's forward. So we want to initially set up back over here. All right, so we want to initially be over here, over that back foot. All right, so then at the start, we're just more efficient. There's just less timing to kind of worry about. All right, so but that's just a sort of small move. So just the initial weight shift, we want maybe 80% back here, 20% on the front side. All right, so that just gets us a little more efficient. So now leg lift, you get a good leg lift. You get a good close off with your hips. Your foot's everything good. Now in this position, you got your glove at a good height too. Now what we need is hip drive. So at this is the key timing point. All right, this is where your delivery starts. So at this point, we want our hips to drive forward as quick as we can. We want that ball to come out of our glove, and we want our leg and our foot to kind of follow diagonally down. All right, so as you get forward, here you can see how your hips just kind of stay there. Your leg goes down, and now your body kind of starts moving. All right, so your body starts moving once this foot's in front of your hips. All right, so now what we want to try to get to is just driving our hips forward even farther, even quicker. So then, at this position, our body's not so much back here. We're a little bit straighter, but our foot hasn't come past our hip yet. So we're still here. Our body's getting down the hill. We're driving down the hill. We're getting farther this way. And then maybe at this point, now our foot's just kind of getting outside of our hip, getting ready to land. So then at foot strike, so here's that foot strike. Once that front foot first hits the ground, you're right here. If we were to draw a line from our back foot to the catcher, you're going to see that you're landing outside of that line. So you're landing open. So you're opening up your hips early. You're also landing with all your weight on your front side, meaning your weight's on your knee right here. And I can tell this because that knee's over that ankle. Get out down the hill. The more you can get those hips going, the farther down you're going to drive, and probably get mark off about 5 or 6 shoe lengths. And that's where you're going to land. But basically, if we're getting down far enough, we're landing somewhere where our knee isn't over our ankle. It's behind our heel somewhere, but we just got to get more drive down the mound, all right? And that's just an easy fix. That's just once that leg gets up to its highest point, start the hip, start that hip bone, take your back pocket, whatever you think, straight towards that catcher, and let it lead your body down the mound, all right? Another thing with your front side too that will help you stay closed and stay back is to keep this elbow up around that shoulder height through your foot strike. All right, so you can see how it kind of comes up and then rotates around. We want to try to get your elbow up above that glove, so then we get that glove out here, which is good, but now this elbow just rotates down. So now that glove's going to stay out front, and then we're going to bring our body to our glove and not let it kind of drop out of that picture. So you're going to see that glove still out here, all right, and then you're going to be able to drive through your legs a lot more. All right, so then release. You know, we're going to see this back foot still on the ground, creating more, you know, we're just going to transfer all this energy. You know, the longer we get out and the more we can kind of stay back over that back foot, the more we're going to be able to transfer all this energy to the front side, and that's going to create more drive over that front foot, and that back foot's going to stay on the ground, and we're going to see ourselves release the ball still on the ground with that head and that chest down over that front foot. All right, so we're going to get to this point out here and just drive and just get more dynamic with our legs and our back, and you just kind of straight up right here. You know, if you're thinking about hitting somebody, you know, do you want to hit somebody with one leg on the ground? Or you want to have both? So just the more you can transfer that energy all the way through that backside, you know, you're gonna be able to generate a lot more velocity, a lot more power. All right. So just that initial leg lift, you want hips going. So just get those hips going down the mound, all right, while maintaining that good posture. Just keep that hip. We don't want to tilt back. All right, so just work on that initial hip. Just get those hips going. All right, you can see they don't start going till there. We want them to start gaining ground, you know, right from this frame. Gain ground, and then get down that hill. All right, so you know, arm health-wise, arm angles, this is pretty good. All right, nothing's red flagging. All right, now it's just so much a matter of you getting that lower half going. All right, so just it's something that will come easier as you get older, get stronger, but just that initial leg lift, you know, a couple drill you can do is just get on that mound, come set, hold that leg lift, get that balance point, and then just work on driving that hip forward and just kind of letting that leg fall, keeping that elbow up and closed, and just work on that, you know, just work on that initial timing, but just get the hips going. I can't stress it enough. Hips going, and you're going to be good to go. So, I mean, because the basis is there, you know, everything's there, especially for your age, it's solid. So now it's just a matter of more legs. So hopefully you're kind of able to see a few things and work on some stuff this off season, and thanks again for making it out to camp. Hopefully you had an awesome time, and we look forward to seeing you again with ABC.